such an impactful trailer it was. I must say about this. Now I'm gonna introduce Christoph Bencher. He's the co-producer for the movie Renoir. Unfortunately, the director is not here with us. I'll tell you the little bit synopsis of the movie. The movie is based in suburban Tokyo in 1987. It is about a 11-year-old Fuki's father, Keiji, is battling a terminal illness and in and out of hospital. Her mother, Utako, is constantly stressed out from caring for Keiji while holding down a full-time job. Left alone with her rich imagination, Fuki becomes fascinated by telepathy and falls ever deeper into her own fantasy world. Now we can have the trailer for the movie Renoir.
それ旦那さん
なんでし
Again, a very impactful trailer, definitely. Now, I may ask Christina to whether you want to talk about this movie. Like, what is your thoughts about the movie?
About Renoir.
Karla.
Okay. No, because I really like the trailer. I really want to see it now. Yes, I would love to talk about Karla. Are there any questions?
Tell me, what is your experience of filming this movie? Because this movie talks of a girl's story of empowerment. So all of us would like to know that what is how the girl reaches the stage of empowerment, as it's a true story.
Yes, for Karla, there's the dilemma. She wants her father in court. She wants him to be punished for what he's done to her. But there's only two witnesses. Like mostly in cases like this, is only two witnesses. So it's word against word. And in order to get her father in front of the court, she has to talk about the assault. And she doesn't want to do that, and she can't do it because she's traumatized and she's very ashamed. And so that's the dilemma, how to talk about something as a child that you cannot talk about because you have no language for it. And in this film follows the perspective of the survivor, Karla, in a very intimate way, in a very empowering way, because we really discover the story and the way until the court hearing, the interrogation with the judge. We follow her perspective, and there is a lot of silence, a lot of speechlessness that I, as a filmmaker, wanted to show, because Karla is not able to talk, and she finds her way with the judge. The judge is also a very amazing role because he was the only person who really listened. And I know it was in the trailer, but it's important for me to tell you again that this is a true story. And we were able to tell the story very authentically because we know the real Karla. The scriptwriter Yvonne Gerlach is a family member, so she grew up with this story, and it kind of became her life project to tell it as a movie. So the story had a very long travel from 1962 in Munich, and now it arrived in India, which I am super honored to bring this story here. And I know worldwide sexual assault children is a very big problem. Like 1 or 2 kids in Europe in every school class are suffering from this. And I don't know how it's here in India, but it's probably similar, I might assume. And so it is so important to talk about these topics and to find a language and to hear the survivor's narrative. I think that is important because usually we talk a lot about the perpetrators and their narrative, their perspective a lot. Media coverage is usually based on the perpetrator, but here we really follow the narrative of the girl, and we were trying to make an empowering story because we never, the language never violates the child's dignity. So to truly give the children a voice in this topic.
Now I may ask Christoph about the movie Renoir. Why it is named such like that? It is quite a question. I was going through this. Like it's a very different and a fascinating name.
Okay, thank you for the question. Thank you all for being here. I would like also to see Karla after watching the trailer. And yes, Renoir is as probably all of you know, is a French painter, and it has nothing to do with the film, almost. The director wanted to have a title that is not explicit, like the film. For those of you who did see the film is very indirect in his narrative, and it expresses things, but it requires the audience to be active, to make the ties between different little stories, and so with the title, I think it's the same. Her answer is that she says we had a lot of discussion, you can imagine, because also Renoir in France is very famous. So I thought, okay, you call it Renoir if you want, but in France we'll change the title. But then after a while, discussing with the distributor and so on, because it may sound as a biopic of Renoir. There's, by the way, I think another film called Renoir, which is a biopic about Renoir. But here, finally, at some point, the project, we didn't have, first of all, found a better title. Then she was sticking to this idea, and we were noticing that finally it was resonating well with what the film is. And funnily enough, after the release, because the film is little touch like this, one after the others. It's not like there's a story developing, of course, but we follow a young 11 years kid through various moments of a summer in Japan, in a little town. And it has something like the Impressionist, the way they were painting. You know, they were doing little dots, and when you look from afar, you can see a full picture. But they were not drawing something like this, but just doing. That's why they were called. And it's based on their impression. So they were called the Impressionists. And then the French press thought that, oh yes, Renoir, it's because it's an impressionist film, because it's little sequence like this. Yes, the director was fine with it, but actually, maybe subconsciously, but she didn't have this idea at first. But still, I remember when we were developing the project in our intention note, of course, she anticipated that it will be a curiosity. Why this project is called Renoir. So first of all, in the film, you have a little explanation. At some point, the father who is terminally ill offers a reproduction of a Renoir painting to her that she's interested, and which is, by the way, it's not a bio. It's a very personal film for the director, but it's not a real life story. But it's very, very personal, and this sequence really happened to her, and the film is set in the 80s when the director, was also 11 in the 80s, and at that time it was the economic boom in Japan. So it was at the same time the rise of individualism. People start to feel they wanted to leave it all, but also started to feel kind of loneliness with the individualism, and there was a kind of idea of coping up with the Western countries. And so there was a lot of reproduction of Western artists like Renoir. So it was a time where in Japan you could find a lot of those reproduction to buy, to put in your house, and that's what happened to our director. So that's why it's his title.
Nice to know. And now I open the floor for questions from the audience.
Hello, this is Nikhil Shukla from All India Radio. Actually, I want to ask to Christopher, what was the key message you wanted to share with your audience through your movie?
That's a good question. Thank you. So I'm not the writer, I'm not the director, but of course I also wanted to deliver this film to an audience. But the director it's a second feature, and she had a first feature which was quite exposed already. It was shown at Festival de Cannes in a side section, Un certain regard, and it had won a mention for a Camera d'Or award for the main award in Cannes for first feature. And it has been distributed almost all over the world with quite a success. So she had such a pressure for a second feature. And our first feature was about the Japanese society. It was how it was called the Plan 75. And it has a concept, a strong concept. She had an idea. It was a futuristic Japan where they offer to people above 75 to get paid and just for dying. It was because it's an aging population. And so that was a concept very strong. So you could see how the state implements that. So it was social issue, very concept film. And for a second feature, I think she wanted to do something very different. And so second feature, it's quite a challenge for directors, right? And especially after such an exposure. So I'm the French producer, as you introduced me. We are several producers and other co-producers to put together this film. But the main producer from Japan, she was very good because she pushed her towards something very personal. So she came up with this story. I think it's not her story, but her father died from cancer when she was young, and I think somehow she may have retrospectively felt some guilt of not really understanding as a child what he was going through. She was there, but at the same time, she was a child. She wanted to discover the world around. She was playful, and I think by making this film, that's my interpretation, right? She reconciliate herself with the child she was, saying like, no, but you did right. You. It's not that you didn't love him, but you'll see in the film sometimes the little girl seems to be quite tough, quite indifferent to her father's fate, and except in the end, after he passed away, there's just a moment where she allows herself to cry. But I think she's in an adult world. There's things that are happening to her that for an 11 years old child, it's too difficult to handle, to cope with. So she will find her a child's way through magic. She explored. she's left alone a bit because the mother is very busy and she's overwhelmed with the situation. So she put herself in danger. This little kid, she will explore the world. She will also, of course, visit her father at the hospital, but try to do some magic with him. She's fascinating by a TV show about magic. So with imagination, her inner world, and I think it's a bit the director. I didn't know her when she was 11, of course, but I can imagine her to have a strong inner world. And when I see her, she's a bit in her, yeah, she has a inner fantasy imagination, and through that, the kid will keep cope with what's happening through her. But so it seems very light and delicate. Because in the end, kids adapt to everything. Sometimes they should not, but and so I would say that's the main point. Of course, it explores a bit the story of the mother, the father, but she's really the core. She's all the film is on her shoulder. By the way, she's incredible, I think.
Hello, Christina and Christoph. Good afternoon. My name is Runa, and I'm from Doordarshan, which is India's national television broadcaster. Christoph, congratulations on the Palme d'Or nomination. Christina, congratulations on the wins in Munich. Very happy and honored to have both of you here. How would you compare the experience between Munich and here? Both of you are presenting films in competition categories here at IFFI as well. The ICFT UNESCO Gandhi Medal and the international competition. What's that like?
Wow, good, very good question. Didn't expect that one. In Munich, you have to imagine, Munich is my hometown, and the cinemas, we showed Karla at it was the world premiere, where cinemas I've known and I've been to. So it was like really, for me, it felt like a home run, basically, and I felt comfortable. And also I was surrounded by the team and by we were 30 people on the stage talking to the audience, and so it felt familiar and it felt safe and nice, and it was amazing to share the film there at the Munich Film Festival. And I traveled some with this film, and I learned that every single screening is completely different. Every single Q&A is different. Although there might be similar questions, but along the energy that is in the room, that comes from every single person who shares their own energy in this film and that is in the room and sees Karla with their own different eyes and their heart. So it's different anytime. And now then here, coming to Goa, to India, this is my first time in India. I said before, I couldn't imagine to travel so far with Karla with this story, and it's a big honor. And here, yesterday, I sat in the first screening of Karla in the Inox in the screen 1. So it's the huge screen. So to be honest, I've never shown this film at such a huge screen before. I never saw the pictures in this a big screen like that. And I was like, wow, that's amazing. And I feel really great now that also here with a very international, very different audience, of course, than I've been an Asian audience. It's amazing. But again, I felt very welcomed, and the energy in the room was very great. And the questions that were asked to me were like, it wasn't a question that I haven't heard before. I really like to answer questions, and also like critical questions that make me think, because sometimes I don't have the answer right away, but then I have to think about it, and that I like, because new thoughts coming into my brain. So no, it's amazing and it's fantastic. I cannot really compare it maybe in a week or in 2 when I have like processed it all, but now I'm still here, and it's my first press conference I've ever done. So I think I'm doing okay. I hope. So I don't know how to answer that question, but it feels great. Thank you for the question.
So thank you for the question, dear Luna. Well, I'll try to find difference and similarities. But first of all, well, Cannes is said to be the biggest film festival in the world, and I think India is the biggest country in terms of production for film in the world. So I was very excited for Cannes. But first of all, the first feature, as I said, was in Un certain regard section in Cannes, and so we were really hoping that the film, since it's already started high with our first feature, we were hoping that it's at least at the same level, but it's difficult to get there. and or there's only one step further, which was competition. And so we were so blessed that the film ended up in competition in Cannes. It's great for her career, just a second feature. And also, it was my first time to have a film in competition in Cannes. So I was, of course, very excited. A bit afraid also because the journalists, the critics can be very tough on competition film. So you get a lot of attention. Yes, I was happy to for the first time walk the red carpet, not to watch a film, but to watch my film with the crew. So that was about Cannes, and yes, I was going to Cannes every year. Of course, as a producer, you go there, you meet partners. I had films there already, but never in competition. So that was an experience quite unique, and it was the first time for all of us. By the way, all the producers and co-producers, it was our first time in competition in Cannes. A lot of pressure, but nice experience. A bit tiring, I should say. I was thinking it's like, I suppose, a wedding, like when it's your wedding, I think you're responsible for a lot of things, all the guests and so on, and you're probably the person who enjoy the less. So I tried to force myself to enjoy, but I had a lot of on my shoulders during this festival. Here I enjoy much more. So the similarities is that I've been lucky to be a guest of the Film Bazaar for the past 2 years. So I knew the festival already. I had 2 years ago, I think, a film I co-produced, a German film I had co-produced, but my involvement was much less than in this film, where I'm a producer, not a co-producer, with Renoir. So I'm much more involved. So I was very happy, and they are all jealous. Because they could not come, the crew, the director. I suppose they are in good conditions. They are showing the film in Qatar. Qatar is one of the co-producer of Renoir as well, so they really the director had to be there. But they are all jealous when they see my picture here on Instagram, and I was excited for once to have to not be locked at the market with the Film Bazaar, but to really be able to connect with the festival. I did last year to come to watch film. I went to here in Inox to watch some films, but here to show it, I was curious. I think in Cannes you have an international audience, quite critical, a bit used to see very good film and so on. And I was wondering how Indian audience will react to that. I was supposing that it's cinephile audience because it's it's festival, and the common point with Cannes is that as Christina said, it's a huge screen, a huge room, and the room is full. Full theater is so good, but even better when the theater is so big, so many seats. So and after 2 hours, the film lasts 2 hours. I was wondering if everyone will stay, but everyone stayed. And as Christina, I was very pleased by the question, which was always when people really receive the film. Indian audience really. I was curious, and they really indeed received the film. So when an audience receives a film, there's always a connection. So it gets personal. It resonates with things they experience, they lived. So I could spend some time, even after the Q&A, with some part of the audience having more questions. So it's a very positive. I'm very happy to be here, and thank you for the programming team to have us.
So how did you ensure that what you did show was actually the child's narrative and not the adult's impression of what a child's narrative should be?
Yes, thank you for the question. That's a very good one. Well, for us, it was a long process writing the script before shooting the film. So we, as I already said, we were lucky to have had the story told firsthand. So it really was Karla's perspective. So it wasn't. I wouldn't say it was general a child's perspective, although it was, but it was very special, her perspective, and a strong. We really tried to follow her narrative and the impressions that she gave us by telling us the story. So after all, because she is a child, it's obviously a child's perspective, and but then when we shot the film and I worked with the young actress Elise Krebs, who was also 12 when we shot the film. It was a challenge, of course, to work with a 12-year-old child, and I again took it as my aim to work with her, like really not like you to work with an adult actor, but to work with a child. I really try to like create this safe space between us. I never put any pressure on her. For her, I wanted her to be really free and autonomous on the set, and it shouldn't feel like work to her. It should feel like, exploring her first experience on a film set that big, because it was her first feature film also. And I wanted, of course, the story is not fun, but I wanted her to have fun on the set. And so we improvised a lot, and I really, tried to follow then Elise's perspective also, and really reacted to her and her conception of Karla, basically, like how she feels. And we discussed a lot about the dialogue. She always asked me questions like, Christina, why do I say this? Or why do I say that? Or are you sure that Karla would react that way? Because I would react this way. And then I was like, okay, let's try. And I was very open to her conception of how a child would react. And so I think that's how we managed to give like such an authentic, make like such an authentic film about how a child feels.
Well, thank you for the question as well. As I say, the script was based from a vivid memory of the directors, and of course, then she had some techniques to build the narrative. Even though she was quite free with that, it's not a standard 3-act structure, and still I think it's really it's always challenging personal film. So that was the challenge. She makes something completely different as what she had done before, and she went inside her. So of course she's an adult now. By the way, she also she understood better her mother, because she in between became a mother herself. So she had some clue, but I think she really respected the point of view and her memory of how she was at that moment. Of course, she worked with memory, and then yes, it was key, the actress, the young actress for the kid. And I think kids, they are really working a lot with instinct. So I was on the shoot. I was thinking that probably she will let a lot of improvisation because. And in the end, not so much. It was really, on the contrary, very precise. And I should say that the young actress was very technical and very, but she was always very true. And by the way, when I saw the film, we had many discussion on things, and the things we constructed, the editing, the music. But there was one thing I was always fascinated. I think the film's main asset is really this young actress. She's you can't take your eyes out of. Thank you for helping me to find the words. That's exactly her look. All that she's going to do seems always unexpected, and she's fascinating, and she's magnetic for the eye. By the way, I thought that she was our best chance for an award in Cannes, and unfortunately she didn't get it. And I could talk with the jury, and I say, "But come on, so what?" But I know the other actress who got it is great. I love her. It's a French actress, by the way. And yes, one of the jury member explained me, say, "Oh yes, it had been in discussion, but they didn't want to give best actress to a child for whatever reason." I try to understand that. I thought to myself, oh, maybe they think child doesn't play, act, which I think is wrong. And I could see on set how seriously she took it. The young Yui, it's her real name, who plays Fuki in the film. And otherwise, maybe they were thinking maybe it would be bad for her future if when she just starts, she already got an award. But well, she I was just wanting to, yes, she just got best actress she was the winner, best new performer at the Asia Pacific Screen Awards. And and she made I could not show it, but it's on my phone, but she made such a cute video to say thank you to the jury member. She's herself. I'll try to show, but you can see on the Instagram. Wow, wow, yeah. It's too small, but I'll show you if you're interested later.
I would like to thank the panelists and you all for joining in. We would like to present a small memento to the panelists. For that, I request our guests to come forward. And thank you very much. Thank